y'all. So I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make the jelly roll rugs. So you can start with, if you have like the actual jelly rolls, you can do that, or I just have fabric that I got. You just need basically about 1.5 yards of fabric to make one that's just kind of a, I think mine was about 24 by 28 inches. That's kind of a good, like in front of the bathroom sink or kitchen sink or whatever kind of rug, just a small, or in front of the door or whatever. So I have 3 different colors, and so I did 1/2 yard of each of those. Cut them into 2.5-inch strips. So just long strips. Just cut it up, or you can use a jelly roll. They're already cut into 2.5-inch strips, whichever you want to do. And then you need batting. You can either buy a big package of it, or you can buy it on the roll. They do sell this on Amazon. That's already 2.5 inches wide. And then I also recommend having one of these doohickeys. This thing will actually make it into the little rope. So it'll fold it in, and then you can sew it. And so definitely recommend this thing. What's it called? Let's see. Jelly roll tube maker. That's what it's called. So anyways, so that's what you need to get started, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so once you have your fabric together and have your strips, next thing you're going to do is you're going to sew all your strips together. So you can just do like a straight stitch, and if you have not ever chained anything, that is the best way to do it. And so I'm going to kind of keep doing mine in a long thing. So I did my flower one first, my flower and butterfly, and then I got my purple floral here. And so I'm going to sew through, and so then when I'm getting almost to the end, just to keep mine in line, I'll go ahead and grab the other end of my purple, and then my blue sparkly is going to be my next one. And so I'm just going to put, and you always just put your right sides together because you want the wrong sides out. So do that, and then you just kind of I pull the end of the next one and just keep going. And so I have my butterfly one is going to be next. And so I'm going to put the right sides together, put that up there. And so you just, to chain them, you just basically kind of keep sewing. You put them right next to each other. And so then I'll get to the other end of this one and then grab my purple. Oops, put my right sides together. And then just keep going. And so you're going to just keep going all the way until you have all the strips sewn together, and then you can make your long tube. Okay, so once you've gotten them chained together, if you did that, then just cut them apart. So I've got this fancy little thing. It has a blade in it, and so I can just put my things in between, and it'll cut them. If you don't get the batting that's on a roll, if you get like just a, by batting whatever that you have to cut up into the strips, then you'll have to sew your strips together as well for the batting, because you basically want to have like long strip of fabric, long strip of batting, and then you will make your little jelly roll tube. And so that's what you will make your rug from. So it's a lot of prep work before you actually get to the making of your rug. But oops, sorry, trying to do this like while videoing kind of gets hard. Okay, got that done. And so yeah, so I got all my strips cut, and then like I said, mine, I have my batting in a roll, and so I am going to, let's see, let me find my start. Sorry. Okay, got too many strips. Got my start here. And so you're basically going to take your batting, move my sewing machine back so I can kind of, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so you can kind of see a little better. Okay, so you're going to put the batting on the wrong side of your fabric. And then to use this tool, you have to kind of get it in the sides. It says to use like a sewing awl. I don't think I have one of those, and so I think I used I've always used scissors, and it works pretty well. But you have to kind of get it through there. This is the hardest part, is kind of taking it and just stuffing it in. And once you kind of get it through, you can kind of straighten out. So I'll kind of pull back, straighten out, because you want basically these to be up the sides, the fabric to be up the sides like that, and that there. And so once you kind of pull it through, it's going to end up doing this. And so you will basically just take those little parts that it does, fold that there, And let me pull it down a little bit more. And you're just going to sew. You're just going to sew a straight stitch along that folded side there. So you're just going to stick that under there and get started. And you're going to just kind of sew a little bit, pull as you go. And so I'll just kind of take this and I'll kind of pull this down. If my fabric kind of starts getting a little crazy like this, I can kind of adjust that a little bit, pull it a little bit, whichever direction I need to. Sometimes I'll pull it back up just to get this straightened out. Like if the batting is too high on one side or the other, you can kind of just play around with this. So you have to kind of go slow, especially when you're getting started. And so you just basically let it do that and you fold it in half and sew. And so you're going to keep doing this all the way and you're going to end up with a gigantically long rope. And that's pretty much what you're going to do. If you are doing this and you run out of batting, then you can always just stop and just sew on some more batting and keep going. Because this is kind of the leftover roll from a previous one that I made. And so I have, so it's probably going to take more than just this little bit of this roll. But just keep going, and when you run out, you keep going till you run out of fabric, until you get to the end, and then you will start your rug. So one more thing I do want to mention is that you don't have to have this little tool. It does make it easier, but if you don't have one of these, it's not a necessity. It does make it easier, like I said. But if you don't have one of those tools, you'll basically just take your material and you'll fold in one side, fold in the other side, and then fold it in half and sew. And so you'll just kind of have to keep doing that down the line. And it does, you know, it'll kind of do that automatically. Like it'll kind of get to that point that you can do it without the tool. It just makes it a little bit easier because it kind of forms it into that. But you can always just fold it and do that if you don't want to get the tool, and just sew it down just like you would with the tool. You just have to kind of keep stopping and folding that down until you get all the way down. But I just wanted to mention that. And so yeah, so keep sewing, make your rope, and then I will come back with part 2 and show you how to sew that rope into a rug.